What's up, internet? We're going to lower the gearing, so new chain of sprockets, and it'll be a 520 conversion all at the same time. For me personally, a lot of these super bikes, they're geared really tall and kind of a pain in the ass to ride around town, and definitely the R1 and A mode around town with the tall gearing sucks. So they're a lot more fun to ride with lower gearing, in my opinion, if you don't mind losing a few miles per hour on the top end. And let's get to it. We'll start with the quick shifter and shift linkage and get this out of the way so we can gain access to the countershaft sprocket cover. We'll pull that off. We'll at least break loose the countershaft sprocket nut. And I'm assuming it has a nut on this other side. I've never worked on an R1 before. This is the first. Then we'll cut the chain, pull the wheel. We'll get her done. I'm going to talk about this because I'm not sure if the camera caught me taking it off, but one thing, try and remember the position of your shifter, where this mounts, because that's going to affect how high or low the shifter is right here. So for example, if I turn it like that, now my shifter is way down low. I'm very sensitive to my shifter and brake pedal placement because I have an injury, specifically in my right leg, that kind of limits the ankle flexion I have, and so it's really hard for me to lift my toe up really high. So I run my brake pedals pretty low. One thing that sucks about that is on my motocross bike, that means my brake pedal will drag in right-hand turn sometimes, but it's better to have it where it's most effective for me and just deal with dragging now and then in ruts and things, but not a problem on street bikes. Anyway, remember that, try to remember that so you get your shifter back in the same spot as it was before, and you just have one bolt. You need to actually remove the bolt because there's a notch in here and the bolt actually sits in the notch, and so it won't come all the way off until you remove the bolt, but then you can put the bolt back in. You don't have to worry about losing it. Let this sucker hang. Okay, now I'm really liking these. I've never seen these before, but essentially instead of having threaded bolts like all my other street bikes do, these are like little one-turn locking things, and they kind of lock into here, and you just turn them like a half a turn, 3/4 of a turn, something like that, and it locks in. Dude, those are brilliant. I'm liking those. I wish everybody used those. We're going to do an oil service change, and the oil filter is down here, so I don't think you have to loosen the side fairing here and take the heat shield off. But I'm doing it again because we're going to change the oil and I need access to oil filter. I don't think I need to take this whole side fairing off. This is fairly flexible. I think I have enough room to do this. But this is also interesting. I haven't seen one of these before. Usually you have a washer that folds over in two places of the nut so that the nut can't turn and come loose while you're riding. But this one's got divots on the top and the bottom, which usually with the washer method, you have to replace those washers. You should replace them every time, but you can reuse them at least once. But the flaps that fold over on the nut, as you bend those back and forth to put sprockets on and off, the metal gets weak, fatigued, and will eventually break. So you're supposed to replace them. So I don't know if that's the deal with this nut. That would kind of suck. But it looks like the nut has a divot kind of built into it to lock it in position. So interesting. We need to lift those up and break this sucker loose. Front sprocket front sprocket nut came off pretty easy. Next thing we're going to do is remove the chain. So you can use a chain breaker. Nothing wrong with that, but I love just grinding the rivets off and busting it loose. Makes for a better video. we got the new rear sprocket on. We've got the new countershaft sprocket on. We're not going to torque anything down until everything is back together again. But we've also got these beautiful chain adjusters, and I think a couple of things. One, look at that. The black against the unpainted swing arm looks amazing. The other thing that I really like about these, and now I want a set for my ZX10, the other thing I like about these is just how clear and visible the tick marks are for alignment. That looks sweet. I guess they're made in Italia. They're made in Italia. What the hell am I saying? That's the Italian flag colors, right? So these must be Italian made. Comes with a little instruction sheet. So should be pretty easy to throw these on, and that's what we're gonna do next. These chain adjusters look awesome. Got to get me a set for my ZX10. There was a little bit of burn off there. I hadn't quite cleaned all the oil off the headers from the oil change, so I could smell, and there was a little bit of smoke coming off. So we're just doing a little sanity check here. Yeah, right off the bat, man, it's a lot nicer to launch off a stoplight. So what do we do? One tooth down in the front and one tooth bigger in the rear. Not an overly aggressive change, but here we are. We're on the interstate doing 78, 79, 6 gear, and just under 6,000 RPMs, 5,900 RPMs. That's what I'd guess that is, 58, somewhere around there. So not a crazy low gear. It's not like we went with like stunner gearing or anything like that, but it just gives the bike a little bit more pickup from a standstill. Really nice, like riding around town. And then if you get caught in like downtown type traffic, you're not like overheating the clutch. You don't need to use the clutch as much. So that's another nice thing, is get a little bit more roll on for passing traffic without having to like grab a gear. I hate people who think they own the left lane. 2 to 3 teeth on the front sprocket would just be like stupid. You gain a little bit of bottom end, you gain a little bit of acceleration, you gain a little bit of functionality, and you don't really lose much on the top. So going from stoplight to stoplight is a little bit of a pain with this bike, and it's better with the lower gearing. Yeah, I'm definitely digging this lower gearing. This is kind of what I'm talking about, man. Stuck behind these cars in these city streets going super slow, I'd be grabbing the clutch more than I am for sure. Well, this traffic is as good as any time to end this video. So you guys, you know what I think. I've been raving about the gearing change. I knew it was going to be awesome because I did it on my ZX10, and it's just every bit as awesome on this bike. Makes the bike more functional, makes the bike more fun. I think the only downside is if you're into 200 miles per hour, you're going to lose. You're going to lose miles per hour on the top end. But I think I showed you that. Other than that, it's an all-around win, right? Bike's more fun, more manageable, and it's not like it's screaming its head off RPM-wise cruising down the interstate at 80. It's still pretty chill. So it's all good. It's all good. If you don't care about the miles per hour at the top end that you're going to lose. Well, you guys know what to do. Keep the rubber side down. We'll see you in the next video. Got up to the speed limit for a second.